Hello, hello, my name is Callista and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. In the last episode, Artin began speaking with most of her party members and we just have to speak to Alistair and also this Levi Dryden guy over there, and then we'll be good to head out onto the open road.
What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
What can a Templar do exactly? Tell me about the Grey Wardens. So how did you become a Grey Warden? So you said you were raised by the Chantry. Never mind. I don't know if Alistair actually has mentioned being raised by the Chantry. Tell me about the Grey Wardens.
Such as they are.
Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here? Is there a headquarters somewhere? So what happens now that there's just the two of us? Will we need to start rebuilding the Order? What would happen if we just left? I've no more questions. Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfells, 1,000 miles from here, but I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
So what happens now that there's just the two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and even if we did, they couldn't come back with us in time to stop the Blight. So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
This is not good. Artin's hoping that backup will arrive soon, given that she's a really new Grey Warden and Alistair hasn't been a Grey Warden for that much longer than her, so hopefully, as Alistair said, they start to wonder why there's no communication and someone arrives, but oh, that could be ages. Will we need to start rebuilding the Order?
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better get used to the idea that there might only be two of us for now. Until more come from elsewhere.
What would happen if we just left is a good question, but it's not one Artin would ask. She does not shirk from her duties, she doesn't back down. So she wouldn't even consider asking that. I've no more questions.
About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
I'd like to ask you something.
Ask away.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you? I mean before that, ha, very funny. If you don't want to answer, then say so. Don't be an idiot. I think Artin's not a very jokey person, and I think she's very quickly becoming quite tired of Alistair's jokes, but I don't think she'd outright call him an idiot. She still wants to inspire this guy, and talking down to your people really isn't a good way to be inspiring. I mean, before that... Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't seem like the religious sort, so you mentioned before, what skills might those be? Alistair did make that comment in the chantry about, what if Andraste has buck teeth? I don't think Artin could imagine Liliana saying something like that. You don't seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
You think Duncan took pity on you? You think this is better than being a Templar? Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you? Number 3 is a very good question, especially if he was not a particularly good Templar recruit and he kept being sent to the kitchens. Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
I shouldn't have brought him up. I'm sorry. Don't start crying again, please. He was a good man. He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
Okay, that's fair. Now then, excuse me, sir, I do believe you've been following us.
You're a hard woman to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levi Dryden. Did Duncan ever mention me? Levi of the Coins? Levi the Trader?
I'm Artin. I've never heard of you. Duncan never mentioned you. You know Duncan? He clearly knows who we are, but I don't think Artin would feel comfortable without giving her name. I'm Artin. I've never heard of you.
Really? He never told you of old Levi? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
What promise did Duncan make to you? How did you know Duncan? I have pressing matters to attend to. Farewell. We're not just going to leave this guy hanging. How did you know Duncan?
It's a bit of a tale, that is. But I'm the one who brought the Grey Wardens back to Ferelden. Well, I was one of the ones. There were a lot of us. Maker's breath, I'm a bit nervous. Honoured to be here, really.
Go ahead and tell your tale. What promise did Duncan make to you? And then I have pressing matters. Go ahead and tell your tale.
After King Marek freed us from the Orlesians, the Grey Wardens begged the King's permission to come into Ferelden, some sort of internal business. Me and a mess of other Warden sympathisers spoke on behalf of your order. Tan Loghain was very much against letting Orlesian Wardens in the kingdom. But Marek, Andraste, bless him, was a fair-minded monarch and he let them in.
Go on, I'm listening.
So that's why I was there when the Wardens and their leader, Genevieve, presented herself to the King. The first Wardens in Ferelden in over a century. Proudest day of my life, that was. Duncan was a bit of a scamp back then. We were of an age and struck up a friendship. The King himself went with the Wardens on their mysterious business. When he returned, he rescinded King Ardlan's decree, and the Wardens came back to Ferelden for good.
I thank you for your part in bringing the Wardens here. Duncan was an easy man to like. Why were the Grey Wardens cast out by Ardlan? Marek rescinded the decree. Just like that? What promise did Duncan make to you? Marek rescinded the decree? Just like that?
Marek was a bit of a visionary. A powerful mind, that one. In his travels with the Wardens, he must have seen how important their cause was, and been moved by it.
Oh, he was moved by something, all right. In case you're unaware, this is one of the books. I can't remember the title of it off the top of my head. If I can remember, I'll put it down in the bottom corner here. But it's one of the books by David Gader that Levi is referring I doubt that's the full story.
Ferelden was ravaged by war, and your dwarven cousins, well, they had a proper appreciation of wardens. But make no mistake, King Marek was a giant among men.
I thank you for your part in bringing the wardens here.
Oh, your stomach's all aflutter. You're welcome.
Oh, damn it, that... Oh, well. What promise did Duncan make to you?
My family, well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last warden commander of Ferelden back when the wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Artin banished the wardens, and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
Just tell me what I need to know, what happened next. That's a bit drastic, isn't it? Taking an entire noble house's land and titles because one of them was a Grey Warden, that's a bit drastic, isn't it?
And then some. Not much is known about that time. After King Artin died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one. And our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
I'm surprised you kept your name.
Our family's only crime was guarding the kingdom against the Blight. We're not ashamed of that.
So, what favour did you ask of Duncan?
I asked for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour.
Couldn't you just go there by yourself? I've never even heard of Soldier's Peak. Yeah, I doubt Artin would have. I've never even heard of Soldier's Peak.
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arlen's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did, and I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honour.
What do you need from me? Why didn't Duncan help you? How will reclaiming the peak help the Wardens? I'll have to think about this farewell. Why didn't Duncan help you?
Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new wardens and meeting with good King Qwinn. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostagar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance.
Your family's faith will be rewarded. I will help you. Let's go to Soldier's I want to say keep. Soldier's Peak. What do you need from me? How will reclaiming the peak help the Wardens? Well, if Duncan thought there was useful stuff there, then there could have been useful stuff, and we'll have a base. And peak implicates that it's on a mountain somewhere. That's highly defensible. So I think it's pretty obvious how reclaiming it will help. What do you need from me?
I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least?
Let's go implies that they'd be heading off right now, and Artin's got other stuff to do at the moment. Your family's faith will be rewarded. I will help you.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Okie doke. A new codex. 2 new codexes, okay. So, to be perfectly honest, I don't think I missed out on anything by thanking him. As far as my memory's aware, the other options were Duncan was an easy man to like, which I don't think Artin would say. That sounds rather sentimental, and Artin... How do I put this? Artin isn't really too beaten up over Duncan's death. She's kind of like, he died fighting Darkspawn, that was a worthy death of him. And she didn't really know him for very long, like she didn't have an emotional attachment to him. And the other was, why did King Arland kick out the Grey Wardens? And as Levi said, no one really knows much about that time, so I doubt he would have been able to give her a decent answer. So I don't think we missed out by inadvertently skipping to the end of that conversation chain. Okay. Sophia Dryden. Sophia Dryden is Ferelden's light and her most brilliant jewel. Nothing on this earth can ever quench her fire. Our lesser Sophia Dryden was the young Arlen's rival for the throne of Ferelden. Well, that explains a lot. Dryden was a strong and charismatic leader with much support from the Banorn. When Arlen finally won the crown, Dryden refused to relent. She pushed her claim, was caught, and accused of treason. Her sympathisers continued to support her, however. In order to appease them, Dryden was spared execution and forced to join the Grey Wardens instead. Dryden survived the joining and dazzled the Grey Wardens at Soldiers' Peak with her leadership skills and charm. She eventually rose through the ranks to become the Warden Commander of Ferelden. Before Commander Dryden, the Grey Wardens were seen as a relic of an older time and an unnecessary drain on the nobles' coffers. Dryden, though, with her political connections, reinvigorated the Wardens and rapidly increased their numbers. In the meantime, King Arland proved himself a devious king, willing to go to brutal lengths to silence his opponents. Arlen's reign of terror grew worse with each passing year, and some of the bands approached Commander Dryden in desperation, begging her to intercede. She agreed, and thus was the rebellion against King Arland born. Arland learned of the rebellion and took steps to end it. He publicly suspended all tithing to the Grey Wardens and declared that they were no longer welcome in Ferelden. Some of the Wardens, mindful that they were supposed to remain politically neutral, felt disgraced by Dryden's involvement in Ferelden politics and left her side, even as the king's forces lay siege to Soldiers' Peak. The siege took months and ended with the death of Sophia Dryden. From the personal files of Levi Dryden, Merchant. And we have Culture and History, the history of the Drydens. In the years following the siege of Soldiers' Peak, all those who carried the Dryden name were hunted by King Arland's forces. Our noble Dryden name was smeared, and our lands and holdings belonging to the Drydens were seized by the crown. The king feared that the rebellion started by Sophia would be kept alive by her loyal friends and family, and anyone with connection to the Drydens suffered greatly. It is little wonder, then, that the few remaining Drydens found themselves with no allies and nowhere to turn. Tobin Dryden, Sophia's brother and guardian of her young son, had no choice but to flee Ferelden. Tobin bought passage to Antiva on a merchant vessel and travelled under the name de Rocha. Once in Antiva, Tobin set about building a new, quiet life for himself and his nephew. He started a small business and eventually made a name for himself as a trader. The de Rocha family... The de Rocha merchant... I don't know why. What is wrong with this word? It's a perfectly nice word. The de Rocha merchant family prospered, and the name Dryden was almost forgotten. However, in 815 Blessed, Sylvie de Rocha uncovered old documents belonging to Tobin and pieced together the family's history. In her pride, and perhaps in her naivete, Sylvie reclaimed the name Dryden and returned to Ferelden. King Arland lies dead, and the Dryden name lives on. Our family has survived, even thrived, since the death of Sophia Dryden. The nobles of Ferelden may still spit on the Dryden name, but we Drydens know that Sophia Dryden was greater than them, almost a queen and a hero to the people of Ferelden. From the personal files of Levi Dryden, Merchant. And let me just tag that. There we go. Now then, we are done. We've spoken to everyone. I think I'd like to just give Artin's thoughts on everyone in the camp before I move on. Well, Thorin is a good boy. I love dogs. I think Artin's a little bit suspicious of him. I think we need to see him in action more before Artin can come to love the doggo as much as I do. Liliana? Artin really doesn't know if Liliana had a vision from the Maker. And I don't think Artin really cares. Liliana is helping, and that's really all that matters. Alistair... I think on one hand, Artin is very happy that Alistair has been very gentle with explaining how the Grey Wardens work, and, you know, he's been very accommodating given the fact that Artin really doesn't know much about the surface. But at the same time, I think she's rapidly becoming very frustrated with how jokey he is. She's taking things very seriously, and the fact that Alistair's taking the time to make jokes is kind of getting on her nerves a little bit. Sten... I think she's suspicious of Sten in that he's a serial killer. Would that be? He killed 8 people. And for a reason that Artin really doesn't understand. He clearly regrets his actions, and yet there seemed to be no purpose for this killing. They, as the revered mother said, they took him in, they found him heavily injured, and then when he awoke, he murdered them. Maybe that is a horrific insult in the lands of the Qunari, but Artin just doesn't understand why Sten did it, and I think that's making her suspicious of him. And Morrigan, all the way over there, out of all of her current party members, Artin likes Morrigan the most. I think they have very similar outlooks on life, but I think they have different alignments. So, like, Morrigan is neutral evil, Artin is neutral good. That's how I describe it. Okay. Let's move on. Let's get going. Now then. I wish that it brought up the map rather than the party screen. However, I'm planning on going to the Mage Tower. Because Al Eamon, the guy in Redcliffe that we were going to see, he's ill. And I don't think we really need to be in any hurry to get there. One of 3 things will happen. Either he'll have got better and he can help us. His condition will have neither improved or declined and his wife will help us. Or he'll be dead and his wife can help us. No matter when we get there, it's not necessarily going to end badly for us. So we can take our time getting there. However, we did hear that gossip that everyone in the Mage Tower has turned into abominations. If we leave that as it is, by the time we get to the Mage Tower, everyone could be dead and then we won't have any mage allies to help us. Also, the tower is, I think it's less than a day's travel from Redcliffe, so it's not like we're going all the way to Denerim or all the way to Orzammar. It's like on the way, it's just off the beaten path. Now, who are we going to take? We need to take Alistair, yes, because this is Grey Warden business, and he is our fellow Grey Warden. I want to take Liliana, because she was a Chantry sister. The Circle of Magi is like an arm of the Chantry. It's Chantry controlled, so bringing her along would probably be wise. Morrigan's an apostate. Bringing her to the Circle, probably not the best idea. Sten's a Qunari. I think Artin would know enough to know that the Qwinn and the Chant really don't get along. So that means we're bringing Poppy. Let's go. Yes, and we are heading to Lake Kellenhad Docks. What's this? Oh, okay, that's Return to Ostagar. We have no reason to go there just yet. Lovely. Very. Oh, also Deathroot. Okay, let's see.
We're coming here to see the mages, right? Oh, great. They just love me.
I know, Alistair, but you are also one of the last 2 remaining Grey Wardens. You kind of need to come along. Okay.
You ever wonder why the mages built their tower out in the middle of Lake Kellenhad? They have an aversion to practicality or something?
Maybe they just like walking upstairs. Who knows? Okay, we have a landmark boat. Puppy. There you go, buddy. I don't know why that always amuses me. Mabari dominance. Mabari hounds are descended from pack hunters, and like their ancestors, they are highly influenced by a defined order of dominance. The primary method of determining that order is by claiming territory through scent marking major landmarks. Once established, the dominant Mabari gains a substantial increase in confidence and stature within his territory, a trait which indirectly benefits Master as well as Hound. Okay. And now we also have Samael the Deserter for the Blackstone Irregulars.
You have some kind of problem?
I'm here on behalf of the Blackstone Irregulars.
Oh? What was this about?
I hear you stole supplies from the guild. I'm here to bring you in for desertion. As I mentioned before, Artin she doesn't like deserters, but she's not like filthy deserters, I spit on them. She's more concerned with the fact that they stole guild supplies. I hear you stole supplies from the guild.
Oh, I see. Tauren must have sent you. I refuse to answer to a pawn of Tauren. Come, men, to arms!
No talking, I see. Ah, well. Oh, what happened there? Okay. Oh, no, we're stunned. Come on. There we go. Take him out. There we go. Now, you're also down, I think. Kick the thug. While he's down as well. There we go. Good job, guys. You didn't drop anything, but this guy did. Yep, there are the guild supplies. A pack of supplies belonging to the Blackstone Irregulars. Okay, very nice. I don't know why. I thought that said bed sock for a minute. No, sack. Okay. Thank you. And now then, we have Kester and someone from the Mages Collective liaison. Okay.
You're the Grey Warden, aren't you? Exactly who I was hoping to meet. I represent a collective of mages interested in going about their lives without the constant scrutiny of the Chantry.
How can I help you? Tell me more. Isn't that against the Chantry's laws? I really don't think Artin cares about the Chantry's laws. She respects them because she's in their land, but she's not like, we must uphold them to the highest degree. Tell me more.
The collective is a self-policing guild of mages who simply want to be left alone. We mean no offense to the Chantry, but we would rather live on our own terms. Next to me, and in every major settlement, you will find an inconspicuous sack containing requests from mages all over the land who need the assistance of someone skillful and discreet.
I'll take a look at these requests. I cannot help you. Give me a reason not to turn you into the Templars. So, Artin doesn't care about the Chantry's laws. She also doesn't really care about the plight of the mages. That sounds horrible, and I'm going to reiterate once again, the thoughts of the character are not necessarily the thoughts of the player. Artin is a dwarf, magic is a human problem. She'll take a look at these requests, she's not going to turn them in, but admittedly the only reason she's looking at these requests is because she's hoping that they'll pay. Like, she's not doing this to help the plight of the mages, she's like, this will give me money, I need money, I'm trying to save the world here. I'll take a look at these requests.
Thank you, my friend. We have agents in every major settlement to reward you for work done on behalf of the collective. Make us smile upon you.
And another codex. The Mages Collective. Despite the Loyalists' grasp on the Mages' political community, many Libertarians and Aquitarians have begun to see eye to eye with respect to the Chantry's role in a mage's daily life. A growing number of mages, particularly those whose magic never strays from the Maker's mandate, feel that the Chantry's constant oversight is a burden upon their creativity and their very will, and one that hinders their ability to do their work. These mages, along with a number of hedge wizards who work their arts outside the Chantry's influence, have formed a shadow guild of sorts, a mages collective wherein members can submit requests and have them seen to without judgment. This collective manages to work in relative secrecy, their members discreet and their clients anonymous. As of yet, this collective has seen no sanction from the Templars, and there has been no sign that its members are practicing magic of which the Maker would not approve. Still, practicing magic outside of the influence of the Chantry is a dream for some and a dangerous notion for others, and many believe that it is only a matter of time before the veil of secrecy is lifted and the Mages Collective is brought to a swift and brutal justice. From A Treatise on Magic and Politics by First Enchanter Josephus. Let's see what you've got. Places of power. Hear me and obey. My power waning, I, Krebulash the epithet, require a reconnection to the mystic places I have left behind. You, the bearer of this note, shall travel to these places and trace upon them my personal cliffs, claiming their eldritch energies for my own. You will come upon sites of mystic power in ancient places of the world, the Brazilian forest, the deep roads, the heart of Denerim, and near the base of the Circle Tower. Careless accusations. The activities of the Maleficarium on my doorstep did not go unnoticed, and now I am in danger of being brought before the Templars myself. A small band of drifters claim to have seen me practicing forbidden arts, and they have left to deliver testimony of my alleged deeds to the Chantry. I ask the Mages Collective to find and stop these false witnesses by any means necessary. They were travelling along? I guess that does kind of make sense. They were travelling along the road from Lothering to Denerim, where their lives will seal my fate. Notice of termination. There comes a time in each young mage's life that he must strike forth from beneath the shadow of his mentor. For my 3 young and unremarkable apprentices, the time is now. He who accepts this calling takes it upon himself to deliver documents of congratulations to my apprentices, who will no doubt be uninformed as to the contents of the missive. The apprentices' names are Starik, Alina, and Sheth. I have cleverly sent them away from my abode so that they may receive this information in a public place, thus guaranteeing the safety of my willing courier. You will find 2 of them in Denerim. The other is I am terribly sorry about this. The other is procuring a slightly rarer item from Orzammar. And be sensitive. I would not wish harm upon their delicate feelings. Ah. This sounds like a really bad breakup. Thy brother's killer. My worst fears have been realised. A band of devilish Maleficarum are performing their profane arts within close proximity to my own sanctum. This cannot stand. I, Jabasto, charge he who accepts this request to destroy the fiends before their evil brings unwanted attention from either Templars or demons to my back door. Travel to the Brazilian forest and slay these blasphemers. And herbal magic. Disaster! So consumed have I been in my personal projects that I have neglected to collect vital components of the herbal remedy I used to sharpen my mind for thoughts of the other world. Without it, I am ruined! Ruined! I will humbly reward any who bring me 10 bundles of deep mushrooms. With this, I can continue on my quest for enlightenment, and with a clear mind and fewer bouts with drowsiness and indigestion. May he who accepts this request be showered in riches and love from the Maker's heart for this noble and selfless act. This is literally my salvation. Okay, so lots of magical stuff and then procuring drugs. Very nice. Ooh, we actually have the letter of termination. My dear apprentice, I have sent this courier with this note to officially end your period of apprenticeship. I harbour you no ill will, for despite your complete incompetence, you have failed to do lasting harm to myself or my work. Sadly, I will not have a chance to witness your floundering attempts at improvement. When you return from your current errand, your apprenticeship will be over. Now hurry, I have dire need of the supplies I sent you to procure. Sincerely, the Mage Tarasta. This guy sounds like a dick. Damn. Okay, do we even have the...
Of course.
No, we don't... Do we have the deep mushrooms? Who do I hand this into again? We have 5 rather than 10. Okay. Now then, I am going to have a chat with Kester, but unfortunately I am out of time for this episode. Let's stand somewhere nice. Let's stand around the campfire. Very nice. Okay, Liliana, face the campfire. There you go, my dear. And now then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.